Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Craven Some Raven. Back again, yes, third day in a row. Holy hell, we're cranking these out. I don't know if I'll be able to keep this kind of pace up, and we'll go back to 3 episodes a week, or maybe I'll just keep it, have a bonus episode, because I was able to have the bonus episode because of that trade. So I don't know, I'll continue to kind of do my thing, play it by ear. Expect them to come out at night because I won't be able to record until I get off of work, and I like to just put it out right when I make it. Don't delay it. It probably would get more listeners if I recorded it and then sent it out in the morning, like when a lot of people are at work. That's when I listen to podcasts, right? That's when I listen to all this Ravens content, chilling at work, doing my thing, and just chilling, listen to some good Ravens content. But I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna be breaking down this upcoming game versus the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to what is their field? I don't know what their sponsored field is, but we're going down there into Seattle. There might be some rain, so we'll get into that a little bit. Will it help us? Will it not? I don't know. I just thought about that now, so we'll get right into this because this is two teams where typically this is a game where you're thinking, oh, this is going to be like 13-5. Yeah, 5, because someone would have gotten a safety. This would have been a heavy defensive battle. But now both teams are more offense oriented, or at least the defenses aren't producing like they should, like they used to be. These teams are very similar on multiple different levels. First of all, they're both bird teams, right? Okay, there's that. Winged teams. You got a mobile quarterback as your guy, franchise-type quarterbacks. Obviously, Lamar, a little bit younger, actually way younger, and Russell Wilson coming off that mega deal and proving why it's working and why he deserves that huge chunk of change. And the offense, it's predicated off of the run game, right? The Ravens leading the league in rushing, on pace to break the single-season rushing record, and the Seahawks attempting just as many rushes, not to as much success, but I think that's because of Lamar. But they run a ton. I think they might actually lead the league in attempted rushes. That might be their thing. They are more volume and we are more quality, or quantity over quality. But we are quality over quantity, which is the way we should be. And both teams, right, like I said, the defenses aren't up to par, what they have built their franchises off of. The Seahawks went to those Super Bowls with the Legion of Boom, and with just a tremendous, historic defense. And now that's gone by the wayside. Now they're focusing on offense. Now they got a lot of pieces on defense, but they're not producing the same way, or the way they are expected to, right? Like a Jadeveon Clowney. Like, he should be wrecking shop. Now, I think he does. If you watch the games, he wrecks shop. It's just everyone runs away from him, right? Like, he's never going to get the stats. But if you watch him, like, this guy wrecks a game plan. He will take on blockers. And the Ravens, they have been in shambles on defense, right? Medic! They need to call an ambulance because everyone's getting injured left and right. Now they're finally starting to get healthy, and then after this game we have a bye, so we'll have a chance to get a little bit more healthy and then make that final stretch, get as healthy as we can in that bye week and make a final stretch, a push into the playoffs, because we got a tough schedule ahead of us, and it starts with this game here. And like I said, both are bird teams, so whoever comes out of this, I think, is the leader of the birds, king of the birds, the bird king, birdie style. I think, maybe the Eagles. Maybe the Eagles are right up there, but I'm kind of down on the Eagles. I've talked about this multiple times, at least in the picks episode. I'm just down on them. It seems like the Eagles, they can only win when they're underdogs, and good teams just win when they're supposed to and can beat teams in a clutch situation. Now, speaking on that clutch situation, the Seahawks, they're what, 5-1? And every single one of their wins was very close, man. I think all of them, except maybe one. I'm not too sure score-wise. But, watching on Red Zone and, watching NFL each and every Sunday, the Seahawks come back and win. That is their forte. Now, is this a fluke? Will this stop? At some point, will their luck run out or their clutch gene run out? I don't know, because Russell Wilson, he's been doing this his whole career, making comebacks, making great clutch throws or just clutch plays when you need them. So maybe it's not a fluke. Maybe this is just the way the team is built and the way they win. They don't win in dominating fashion. They win in close clutch situations. Now, me personally, I think eventually their luck is going to run out. And it might be this week to the pesky Ravens, right? Because according to the stats, we have the best offense in the league. Now, obviously, a lot of that was skewed by that first game versus the Dolphins. But like I said after that game, I doubt anyone's going to put that many points up against them. And no one has. No one's come close. It may be close, but just offensive scores? No one's come close to what the Ravens were able to do. So, yeah, you can say, oh, it's skewed, but no, that's part of it, right? Now, you can cherry pick your stats all you want, but you have to put those games in it, right? A lot of teams have played the Dolphins, so you count those, right? So if a team like the Redskins, you put up their stats, like, well, we'll take out that Dolphins game because that, didn't really count. They're not a real team. You have to include those in the stats. Listen, this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be kind of a high-scoring game. I didn't bet the over on this. If you can find that bet slip. I forget what I bet because I know I bet. You always got to bet the Ravens, right? Bet slips. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when you lose all your bets? All right. I bet the Ravens in the spread and 3.5 points. So even if we lose, the way the Seahawks have been winning, it's going to be a very close game. If the Ravens lose, right? Even if we win, it's going to be a close game. But I bet the Ravens in the spread at plus 3.5. So the Seahawks would have to win by more than a field goal for me to lose this bet. And I just don't see that happening. I think if we lose, it's a 1-point game. It's a last-second field goal by the Seahawks. And the way their luck has gone all year, like I was saying, I'm thinking if they try a last-second field goal for a win, I think they miss it, right? And apparently it's going to be rainy, and I think that helps us out more than it helps them. Now, I know they're used to it, right? They live in Seattle. But our team is better at running the ball. Our team is better at time of possession. That down, dirty, bruising football style, that's what we do. That is our game plan. And the weather plays into that. Anytime you have a playing style that you can say, hey, this is what our team is, this is what we're about, this is what we do. Anytime you can get the team to play that style of game, right? That's when you win. That's when you have success. You bring them down to your level, or up to your level, as you'd say. So, if we can get the Seahawks, now I know they like to run the ball and all, but I think we got a pretty decent run defense. I think we've kind of shored up those running backs just destroying us. The addition of Josh Bynes and LJ Fort, somehow scums or bums off the street have helped us out and solidified that. Our D-line is always productive against the run, and it was the linebackers. If they just happened to get by our defensive line, the linebackers are now there to clean up. For whatever reason, they weren't doing that before. I don't know why. I would have to break down their tape, and nobody got time for that. And I've seen stuff on it. It's just before, Peanut and Kenny Young, who is now not on the team. They just were making the wrong decisions. Okay, say that. Can you say that one more time? What do you talk about Ravens for a living? You can't even say decisions. So we're finally able to stop the run. These linebackers that we used to have were just ultra aggressive, which is great. You kind of want to see that, but at a linebacker position, you don't want to see aggression. You want to be able to stop the run. You don't want them to ever be able to move the ball at will, because why the running game and time of possession is so crucial is because it demoralizes the team, right? That's what we've done to people. And if our defense isn't up to snuff, that's when we get in trouble because we can't play our game. Now, I think the Seahawks, they don't have a defense, kind of like I was saying before, not as good as it used to be. They are in the bottom half of the league. So we should, as a number one offense, be able to move the ball. I've said this before, and I don't know if it's a true fact, but I bet we lead the league in yards per possession. Because we don't have many 3-and-outs, right? We don't have those. This isn't Joe Flacco's team anymore. I know y'all saw that Thursday night game. Boy, did that give me PTSD. Woo, that was bad. That was so bad, man. It was like bad memories coming back up. Like you'd see it and it's okay, well, you're down 21. Joe Flacco dumps it off. Okay, got no yards. Joe Flacco dumps it off again. Okay, no yards. And then he throws it out of bounds. Well, that's your next possession. You're out. It's like, goddamn, I've seen it too many times. And, I'm not happy for him, but I'm happy another fan base is now experiencing it. And me personally, living in Albuquerque, a lot of Broncos fans here. So anytime I get to see them, talk to them, like, hey, sucks to suck. This is what happens when you deal with a Flacco. Now, obviously, he's getting no help over there, but that's not what this podcast is about. Just poor Flacco. Yeah, this is going to be a close game. We got Russell Wilson playing at an MVP level. He is right now the favorite to do that. And I think Lamar Jackson, if he gets a win here today, maybe gets a win in New England, he was kind of already talked about that after the first 2 weeks. And, I think since this is a 4 o'clock game, I think Lamar will put on a show. I don't see this as a record-setting day. Maybe next week will be, because it seems like every other week is when he breaks the record for something. I don't know what. He's just always breaking records, right? But I think he still puts on a hell of a show, like he always does. And so I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. I've talked about this before, but just going to keep saying it. Anytime he's in prime time, right? There's going to be a lot of your average fans' eyes, even some national media members who are finally watching a Ravens game, right, for the first time because they want to see the Seahawks. They want to see Russell Wilson. Like, oh, well, I guess I'll get a chance to finally watch a Lamar Jackson game. And so they'll see the plays in between those highlight runs or those highlight passes. They'll see what he does, and they'll see his ability is another level, man. It's a thing of beauty. And we Ravens fans, we know this. We know this. So with a lot of fans, a lot of just national fans, not even a fan of either team watching it from a, we don't care who wins kind of space, just enjoying it as a football game. Being a high-scoring game, I think Red Zone's probably going to be on it a bunch. I think a lot of eyes, going to keep saying it, a lot of eyes are going to be on that game. And people are going to notice, and people are going to start talking. Even if Russell Wilson, stat-wise, outperforms Lamar, they're going to see what Lamar does on the field. They're going to see the blenders that he leaves out there, all the spilled messes, right? And people, he's going to get a lot of hype. A lot of hype. I think Lamar's the guy who can handle it too. And the start of this year, you saw a lot more Lamar hype. I've seen a lot of thumbnails of videos online or stuff on NFL Network where they even just mention Lamar's name once, but yet he's the picture. He's the thumbnail picture. Because they're a business, right? They understand who brings in the money. It's usually the exciting players, the ones that everyone's talking about. And it's Lamar Jackson. And I think it's only going to grow after these, I guess, next 3 weeks. We'll have the bye. So I think he'll do this crazy game, crazy performance, have a good time in Seattle. Then we have the bye. We'll have a chance to get healthy. Then we'll go out and play the Patriots. Everyone's going to be watching that game. That is the Sunday night game. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth. It's going to be a good one. But we're talking Ravens versus Seattle, right? And Russell Wilson, he is playing out of his mind. And it does make me nervous because we don't have much of a pass rush. Or at least we don't have a bunch of sacks. So it's, Should we try to get to the quarterback, or should we let him stand there in the pocket? There's no good answer because he's proven that he can carve people up either way. We're going to have to just force some incompletions. And I think Marlon Humphrey is going to be a huge part in that. And I think the addition of Marcus Peters is going to be a huge part of that. Now, I know he just came in. But Josh Bynes just came in, and in the first week, he got an interception. You know, according to Wink, apparently the defense is designed to be simple. Or, I guess, verbally simple. So that way a player can come in. They've been playing ball their whole life. You know, just understand the calls. Understand what you're supposed to do. Play an easy defense. Where I hope now Wink with a Marcus Peters, with another top-tier cornerback, can say, hey, Marlon, just do one-on-ones across the board, and that will allow us to send more blitzers and be more successful. But, you know, thinking about who's going to be playing who. Because Marcus Peters, he's the new guy. Who do we put him on? Tyler Lockett? And then we put Marlon on DK? I don't know, because I feel like Tyler Lockett's had Marcus Peters' number. I feel like he's had Peters' number. Just from watching the games, I feel like he's been schooled too many times. Now, I know Marcus Peters, he is that I'm going to risk it to get that biscuit kind of guy. But against Lockett, who can beat you, I don't know. But I feel like we need someone big and physical on DK Metcalf. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of play this up. You know, I'm not too sure. Whatever they do, some plays, I'm sure it's, oh, that's how you do it, man. That's how you play. And other games, it's like, what are you doing? That was a terrible idea. You know, that's just the way the NFL goes. If it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you're done. You're fired. You're off the team. So, Jimmy Smith is getting healthier. I don't know if he's going to actually play in this game. I doubt he will. This is the first week he's back from that injury. First time he's practiced since that injury. Now, I think he might help this defense, you know, but he would be rusty, right? And I would rather them just save him for New England, let him have another week of getting healthy, getting back in football shape, training up his body a little bit more before throwing him out there. You know, I'd rather him get a little bit healthier. You know, that way, you know, this last stretch of games, we can kind of just have this rotation of cornerbacks, and I think will help us out. I think we'll be huge, right? Our defense is built back to front, and we've just had injuries all over the back. So really, like, the strength of our defense just wasn't there, and we've been a mediocre defense because of that. Now, I think with everything, you know, the stars starting to, you know, come into focus, come into line. It's almost upon us. I think we're getting close to the time where this team's going to be rolling full steam. And, you know, week 7, week 8, this is the time. This is the NFL time. We know everything. There are no fluke stats out there. Me personally, I have a feel for each and every team besides, like, the Titans and Chargers. Probably just the Titans. The Chargers, I know they do this. The Titans, they are hot and cold. And in my picks episode, I described them as chihuahuas, right? We were, you know, buddy, we were putting dogs to teams, like what kind of dog they would be. It didn't really quite work out other than the Titans. We didn't do it for all the teams because it's damn near impossible. I said the Ravens were a Chesapeake Lab Chesapeake Retriever, just because they're on the Chesapeake. But the Titans, they're Chihuahuas. Because Chihuahuas, they're either chill or they're just fiery, nasty, nothing but barkers. Little fuckers. Little pieces of shit. And that's what the Titans are. They're either like, whoa, they're looking like world beaters, or, yeah, I don't know about this, guys. You know. But, yeah, man, this is going to be a super, super tough game. They say Seattle's tough to play in. I don't know if we've ever won there. But one of my favorite Ravens memories, actually, my favorite Ravens memories is when we played the Seahawks at home. I forget the score and everything, but I just remember I was at the game with my dad. This is back when he had season tickets, and we would go. I wouldn't go to every game because he kind of shared them with my uncle, so I wouldn't be allowed to go to the Steelers games. But we went to one of the night games versus the Seahawks, and that was the game where we had the biggest comeback in Ravens history. And I think it was like the third or start of the fourth quarter, and people are leaving the stadium, and he's like, "All right, let's try to go. Let's stop watching this. This is kind of bad." And no, I want to stay. We're here. I want to stay and watch this. What an awesome kid. No, I was a little fucker, so it's probably like, no, we're staying. But I wanted to stay. My dad wanted to leave, and as a good father does, whatever, you little bitch, we'll stay. God damn it, fuck, Jesus. He didn't say that, but like this, like, all right, whatever. If you want to stay, we'll stay. And that's when it happened. Right? That's when they came back, and they had the biggest comeback in Ravens history, and the stadium was so loud, the loudest I've ever heard it. And the stadium, it was shaking, half filled, half empty, depending on how you see the world. It was half full, right? In that situation, half full, and you could feel the stadium moving. And that was so impactful in my life. Not like existentially, it was just awesome, right? It was just not like, oh, this changed my childhood, and ever since then I knew I'd create a podcast. Craven, some Raven. I don't know what that accent is or what that is, but that was my favorite Ravens memory. Obviously, the Super Bowl was awesome, but I was so drunk for that Super Bowl, I barely remember it. So I've rewatched it, but like that, being a fan, going to the game. And I know, the numbers aren't what they used to be. TV coverage is almost better at some point, but you get that electricity in the air, all of the people all excited about one singular thing. It's beautiful, and that's why I love football, and that's why I love going to games. I hope I get a chance to go to a game this year. Like I said, I live in Albuquerque, but I will be in Maryland at some point this year. Always, just to see the family, do all that fun stuff, and hopefully I go during football season. I'll probably be there around Christmas time, but I don't think we have a game around Christmas time. But I do want to try and get to a game this year. Now having the podcast, I think you got to go to one, right? And I haven't been to a football game in forever, man. So that's a goal that I have this year, trying to do that, get back that awesomeness. Because if you see it live, you're like, where were you when the Ravens came back versus the Seahawks? Bitch, I was there. And that's just really awesome. So and I don't think we've had terrible success against the Seahawks other than that one time. I don't know what the team records are, but I think they've kind of had our number. Maybe not had our number. They've just always been better, always played us hard. Two bird teams, right? Let's change up all the divisions. Let's have a bird division. Yeah, the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Falcons. Maybe the Jets. I don't know. Do they count? They have wings. So maybe you split it up into like birds west, birds east. Maybe that sort of thing. Then you'd have a something in my throat. Let me pause this. I got a frog in my throat. Much better. So you could have the bird division. Damn it. Or you could have like the cat division, right? Get the Lions, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Panthers. I feel like I'm missing one. Lions, Tigers, Bears, oh my. All right, you could just do mammals, right? And then include the Bears and the Bills in that division. And that could be like an East and West sort of situation. You could have a big division. So it could be the Giants and the Titans. They're the only two. You could have like the Pirate division, the Bucks, Raiders. Maybe you could kind of consider the Patriots Pirates because they're like revolutionary guys. We stole the land from natives, which is what pirates do. They just do it on a boat, but they did it by land. So they're like land pirates almost in a way. Um, sure. Yeah, this is all making sense. I'm gonna build a great NFL divisions, right? Then miscellaneous. 49ers. Titans. No, I already said Titans. Either way, that's not what this is about. It's Seahawks and Ravens. So they have the 12, right? This is why having a great running game is amazing. Because not only is it portable, you can bring it anywhere. It's perfect for outdoor functions and family picnics and a day at the beach. The run game. Buy yours now. Buy one, get one free. 10 easy payments of $10.99. That was all over the place. But yeah, you can take the crowd out of it with a run game that just eats up clock. That will shut down any stadium. They're going to just, I guess I'll get my pretzel now. They'll be out in just getting their concessions, just waiting for our offense to get off the field. Because time of possession, that is our bread and butter. We beat the Bengals. We had double the time of possession that they did. That is not normal, right? So if we can just continue that formula, we will be able to, have this, I feel, perceived upset. I don't think there's a team we can't beat. I believe it's Lamar. He gives us a chance, right? So I think this is definitely going to be a huge test. We got tough battles coming up in the future. And this is where it starts, right? I just want to look at something. Damn it, this is about to die. But I posted that episode the other day, and someone commented in it. He was a Steelers fan. Let's see here. On the Dick Picks episode, right? The episode where I pick all the games, and I guess Steelers fan was watching it, and he commented. Let's see if I can find this. And I go over bets, all sorts of other stuff, and he said, "Want a lock bet? Take the 8-1 on the Steelers to win the AFC North." So basically, bet on the Steelers to win the North. Then I said, "Has a third-string quarterback ever won the division?" Because I don't think it has. And he says, "Mason is a starter, the future, and the truth." Okay. I didn't want to respond to that, but then he said another thing. This guy says, "Did Nick Foles win a Super Bowl? Will Lamar Jackson last more than 5 years in the league?" Now, you can go and see my responses, but this is the kind of ignorance, the kind of stupidity. Not so much ignorance. Or it's just the wrong ideas where this 4 o'clock game, being under the lights, maybe not under the lights, but, being under the national eye, this is the kind of shit that will cease to exist. I definitely answered. There's quite a huge thread, probably like a couple. I wrote like 1, 2, 3 paragraphs responding to his other 3 messages. So you can go comment on it. Feel free to give him some words of encouragement as you will, right? I was trying to do it politely, nicely. That's saying, "Hey, bro, you're wrong. You are wrong." But either way, there's just so much criticism around it. And even when I recorded that episode, my buddy who I do the podcast with, he's a Patriots fan, and we're talking about the future of the NFL quarterback and the running ability and how I think Lamar is the future. But he's saying my buddy Nicholas, he doesn't believe that is the case because a running quarterback hasn't won the Super Bowl. And he said he won't buy that statement that the running quarterback will work and it will be a successful way to win until they win like 1, 2, or 3 Super Bowls. But at that point, that's a dynasty, right? And not many quarterbacks get to experience that. But you got Steve Young did that. He was a mobile quarterback. But I think there's a difference between a mobile quarterback and a running quarterback. Because nowadays, in the league today, I would say about 28 of the 32, just a number off the top of my head, 28 of the 32 quarterbacks are mobile quarterbacks. They move around in the pocket a ton. They can get you out of trouble. They will run it, right? But I think Lamar Jackson might be the only running quarterback. I think there's a difference, and I don't think anybody's really done what the Ravens are doing. I think maybe Colin Kaepernick, when he took over in San Francisco, they ran him a lot. So I think maybe those are the two in history. And even Michael Vick, a lot of those were just scrambles. It wasn't designed. I think to be a running quarterback, it'd have to be like design type runs. And so, because it hasn't been done before, right? Because there hasn't been a running quarterback to win the Super Bowl. People don't believe that it is a possible way to win. There have been a ton of running quarterbacks to get to the Super Bowl, right? Like a Colin Kaepernick, like Donovan McNabb. I don't think Vic ever did it. But these guys are never on crazy good teams. Like if you think about the crazy athletic, Cam Newton, he made it. But it's rare that these guys are paired up with a good scheme that suits their abilities, right? I feel like nowadays, I guess now teams are finally wising up and say, hey, let's use the legs. Let's use this ability, especially in Lamar's case. They are using that, and I think if they make the playoffs, they're going to start a trend where people maybe are willing to draft that quarterback who isn't good at throwing, but great at running. Say, hey, we'll run with you. We will do almost this Navy-type triple option thing because I think it works. It produces yards. Now, everyone struggles playing against Army, that triple, quadruple option. But why? They're not as talented as everyone else that they play. It's just because the scheme gets them yards. And so it's kind of like, you could, if you know jiu-jitsu, you can take down someone who's bigger than you, someone who just knows, like, boxing. Someone who's small can take down a boxer because they know jiu-jitsu. It's a different style of fighting. And the NFL, in a way, with all these different styles, is a mixed martial arts, right? And it's all about knowing who your players are, knowing the type of players you have, and fitting that style to them. And so people say Lamar Jackson, this type of play isn't sustainable, whether it be to injury or people stopping it. I think it's the start of a new era, just like his name. I believe this is the start of the running quarterback being a huge part of the NFL, because it's been a part of the college game for a while. But up until I feel Lamar Jackson, everyone's been told, all right, but come into our system and do that. You can run a little bit, but you're going to fit our system. I just don't know in the past if someone has designed an entire offense around a quarterback running. And you can say Cam Newton, and you can say even RG3. You can say Colin Kaepernick. You can even say Russell Wilson. I just feel like the Ravens have taken that to like the umpteenth level, right? They've taken it way, way past. And that's why they've this new type of offense that I feel is going to be more and more common in the future years. That's why they are the number one offense. They are producing consistently. And it's not like they have one crazy awesome game, which they did, and it's not like they have one terrible game, because they haven't. They've put up 20 points anytime Lamar starts. And so with the Seahawks not having a great, coming back a little bit, bringing it all somewhat full circle, like a bird flies around the globe. I don't know. They don't fly that far. But the Seahawks don't have the best defense. And this style of offense, not even breaking out all the good china yet. And I think when we break out maybe a plate, maybe a cup, maybe a nice little teacup with like a gold rim, I think we can catch them off guard somewhat. Or we can move the ball, because we have been. And I don't see a reason why that would stop. Russell Wilson, he was kind of the short black quarterback, allowing this sort of, running ability. One of the first, not the first, definitely. Even Cam Newton was before that. But, this new style where you don't have to be tall, you don't have to be big, you don't have to be this certain type of way to be a quarterback. And I feel like Russell Wilson is one of the starters of that. A short black quarterback who runs, that is like anti-1950s. That is like the reverse of what they did in the 50s. I don't know. That's generalizing, but, like racism was a thing in this country. So I feel like there were a lot of these players in the past, but they weren't allowed to produce the way they were. Like Michael Vick, if he was playing today, he'd be dangerous as hell. I feel like he wouldn't be as dangerous as Lamar, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, just because I think defenses have gotten faster, and they know, because the running quarterback is such a huge thing in college, that they know somewhat how to defend it, and defenses have kind of slimmed down to kind of counteract that, right? So I don't know if he would be as good, but I think he'd be good. So when my friend is saying this, it's like, well, what I wanted to ask him, and what I didn't think of until afterwards, is that I should ask him, like, do you think the Patriots would be a dynasty if instead of Tom Brady, Bill Belichick had Michael Vick? Would the Patriots still be a dynasty? And I think we can, honestly, me personally, I think they would have more Super Bowls than with Tom Brady. Because we got on the whole talk of who's the GOAT. Who's the GOAT when Tom Brady retires? It's like Tom Brady's the GOAT because of the Super Bowls. And I feel a lot of that is Bill Belichick. Me personally. Tom Brady's play isn't all that great. Watch him any given Sunday. He'll still throw a mean ball, but so do all these other quarterbacks. He's not anything special. It's just all the Super Bowls. That's why he's the GOAT. I'm not taking anything away from it, even though I technically am. But I think, if the Patriots had Michael Vick instead of Tom Brady, now you could say, oh, well, the dog stuff, and he's not playing, not going to be not as much longevity. I still feel the play you would have gotten, Bill Belichick would have been able to get out of Michael Vick would be way better than what the Falcons did. And I think it'd be greater than what Tom Brady was able to do with them. I feel like this ability to maybe be not as prolific as a passer, but be leaps and bounds above with the running back, being able to use that second guy, or being able to make mismatches with the defense because your quarterback can run, that opens up so much possibilities. And I have a feeling that Bill Belichick would have had a field day with that. So as long as Bill Belichick is with the Patriots, they are going to be a Super Bowl contender. When Tom Brady leaves, if Belichick's still there, they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. If Bill Belichick leaves and Tom Brady stays, I would not put him at Super Bowl contenders. Now, you'd have to say that on the surface just because that's the way they've just kept going there. But I feel, football coaching is it's the most impactful out of any sport. Play by play, I feel like it's 30% made by the coaches, maybe even more. Sometimes a great scheme, you can get someone open, and then boom, touchdown. I just feel like the coaches are way more impactful than we say. I think we all realize how impactful the coaches are. We say, "Oh, that was a great call. You look at the way he's called this game. He is out coaching him." But I don't think we really mention the comparing the two. I don't know. I haven't really fully formed this thought, if you can tell. Actually, this whole podcast, I haven't fully formed anything. Just kind of going into it. Ravens Seahawks. So let's get back to that. But that running ability, that mismatch, I feel is going to be on full display in this game. Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. I think two of the next, like I said, no GOATs. I think this is the start of. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. There's no you are the guy, right? It's like Super Bowls can be won by players, But dynasties are made by coaches, if that makes sense. I don't know what that has to do, but it's like, we'll see these, because all these players are good. I feel like, with Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson, if they were with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, that dynasty would continue. I don't feel like it's just a Tom Brady thing. If they were playing terrible, he would have retired a long time ago. So it's all like circumstances, and you got to get lucky. The ball has to bounce your way. But this game is going to be good. To bring it back to things, obviously, definitely talked a little bit more existential football stuff there. But yeah, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be close, but I think it's going to be high scoring. I didn't bet the over-under, just bet the spread. I think we get the win. I think we get to win. If I'm going to put a score on it, I will say 33-31. Kind of a weird score. But yeah, I'll just stick with that. Yeah, maybe 34-31. Maybe we win by a field goal. Justin Tucker, he is the guy, right? So let me know what you think. Let me know if I am out of my mind with some of these thoughts with the NFL, where the quarterback's headed. Go back on my other video. Let that Steelers fan hear your thoughts about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and how it's not the Steelers winning the division, it's us. Let him know your thoughts. It's in my last video, the Week 7 game picks. You'll see it in the comment section. But after that, man, just like the video, share it. Like I said, comment on it. If you're like me and you like listening to podcasts, but you're listening on YouTube, download it on one of the apps, because then you'll have the ability to, lock your phone, put it in your pocket, and listen to some great Ravens content. So I'm on like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, I think Stitcher as well. So just go download me there. Download me. Don't download me. No, I'm going in the computer. Tron, no. Yeah, just download it, and then it'll just show up on your phone each and every time I upload an episode. So with that being said, this is going to be a great Sunday. Only 2 more wake-ups until we're there. And then morning games, and then we'll be watching. And everyone's going to be watching. All eyes on the Ravens versus the Seahawks. We'll see who, 2 birds enter the nest. One will leave. Who's got the eggs to win? So with that being said, I will leave you with a go Ravens!